We got a fresh from the comic shop announcement on tonight's comic book canon. That's right. Here we are on a Sunday night, and I kind of rhymed, and it was pretty cool. Here's the deal. We were supposed to have a full show this week. However, the things you learn about your good friend's partner in crime and co-host, he has a day job. He doesn't just sell comics. That's right. Joe, aka 360, is a financial advisor and had a business trip in Boston that he thought he was getting off of early enough to be part of this show, probably from his hotel room. But nope, he's got some engagements until 9:30, probably schmoozing, wining, and dining his clients. Oh, if you don't believe me, check out this headshot. I mean, what a gorgeous, handsome man. Absolutely a gorgeous human being, and I am so glad he's part of this show because this is the first person we can actually say is a model who is a co-host on the canon. Chris and I, we can't say that, but we're definitely cooler than he is. That being said, Joseph had some words for next week, so here he is.
What's up, everybody? Joe here, coming at you live from my hotel room in Boston, Massachusetts. Sorry, unfortunately, I won't be on the canon tonight because I'm away on a business trip for a few days, but hopefully you guys can make it through. Hopefully Jeff's voice continuously battering you in the face isn't going to turn you off too much, and you can enjoy the rest of the show. But I'll be back next week. We'll see you then.
All right, so again, Joe is in Boston right now. He may pop in, he said, but I doubt it. I wouldn't count on it. So this is going to be a lighter show. We're going to touch upon just kind of a couple things here, especially that fresh from the comic shop announcement with EGS. But I'd like to bring in a pleasant surprise for all of you. What do we have? 18 people in the chat here because, I mean, the canon is Chris and I, and now Joe too. But let's be honest. Again, we're the coolest ones right here. Look at Chris! Ah! Look at this! What's happening, hot stuff?
Hello.
Wow, look at you, man. Look at this. I mean, again, we're not as handsome as this, right? You and I? But we are.
Look at that.
Look at that mug.
That head.
We are definitely cooler than him. No doubt about that. No doubt about that. Did you know he was a financial advisor?
No.
Yeah. Okay. So the things you learned, dude, I am so happy to see you again. I've been saying every episode, not sure, if you had time to tune in, but the canon is you. So, yeah.
Feels
very
good
happy to see you.
To be here. And I hopped in and just to hear the funky beat and see the chat. It's a beautiful thing. And I think, through everything that I've been going through the last few months, obviously I hopped in here and tried to do the show a couple of times, but this is the first time I think since all of this that I am actually present here and just soaking it in. So, and I see everyone, Caleb, Spider Dude, and P. Keel, and Gary, and Josh, and Dan. You guys are awesome, man. So,
and I have to say, you missed a great guest last week. To interview Mike, aka Pope of Chili Town. He
Yep,
Fine.
yep.
Can you help me with my 401k? Joe, First Magpie? Sure. Okay, that's what. Anyways, these guys. I am super stoked to have you on tonight because, again, we met Tony Trombetta with EGS. He is an integral part of this show as well.
Yes.
So I just want to say we are going to have a Fresh from the Comic Shop announcement revolving around EGS, but I also want to address something you're familiar with too. And we're not going to name names here, but there is a certain situation that I don't agree with. Chris doesn't agree with. Tony is here as well. He'd like to address, and I'm just gonna talk about it real quick because we have a ton of content creators within this community, and all of us support each other. Recently, it's come to our attention that a previous Fresh from the Comic Shop winner took to YouTube to criticize EGS slabs. That person and channel will not be named, but this really bothered myself, Chris, and Joe, and Tony as well, because Tony is a part of this community who donates these monthly books to sponsor Fresh from the Comic Shop. He's a small business looking to make his mark in a competitive market. He's graded over 4,000 books in 5 years, okay? it's fair to say that CGC and CBCS grade at least 4,000 a month, if not a week. Who knows? Maybe a day. The way we see it is like, this is a gift to the community, plain and simple. You wouldn't put your friends on blast and all of your you wouldn't put your friend who gave you a gift on blast to all of your other friends if you got a gift that you didn't like. Now there's some specifics that this unnamed person had an issue with, and we have Tony here to address those issues, as well as make an exciting announcement. As I said, from Fresh from the Comic Shop, please everybody, welcome Tony Trombetta.
What's up, guys? How you guys doing? Chris, good to see you, brother.
Yeah,
good to see you, man.
You too, man. I know it's been a minute. We need to catch up. So.
Yeah, man. Yeah, man.
You look good, Chris. You do, man.
You do. You look good. You
Maybe
look
it's that
good.
color on you. I don't know. It's Cubs colors, right?
What's that?
It's Chicago Cubs colors is what it is. But
oh, blue and red. Well, real quick, today I'm rocking the one thing about me, like, I always try to swag out, in my early days, but I wanted to be different. So while everyone was rocking Nikes and Jordans, I was always rocking the Fila and the red and blue, man. So you got it, red and blue to match the Fila kicks.
Look at you, man. Your color. I gotta take pointers from you. Anyways, we're not here to talk about Chris's wardrobe because this is the last minute appearance by Chris, which is, very much appreciated. But we're here again, Tony. It was brought to our attention. We had a YouTuber who did win a Fresh from the Comic Shop. And Chris, we're going to show our books to address these issues that were had. But it was, I'm bothered by it. I'm going to say again, I'm bothered by it because you are a small business trying to make your mark, right? In a very competitive market, as I said before. You are gracious enough to sponsor Fresh from the Comic Shop, which you enjoy doing.
Mm-hmm.
Chris and I and Joe and other members in this community absolutely believe in your product, right? And I did maybe took personal offense to hearing these things because of that, because you are part of this community, you are a friend, and you do go out of your way to be a part of this community, not only with this channel, but with other things that you do. So we're going to address a few of these issues that were made physically about the case, and then maybe we could touch upon. I just thought it was in poor taste. I was disappointed that this person did this. Yeah. So we'll get into that in a minute. But
yeah,
let's just talk about the points that this person made.
Yeah.
Let's just start right now with the book moving in the case.
Mm-hmm.
So he brought it up, he started shaking it, and the book moved and wobbled and all that stuff, which, Chris, you can show me yours.
Yeah. Oh, you want me to wobbly, shakety? Yeah. Okay. So, there's a little wobble, but the thing for me, and not to kind of hide, I know we want to go over certain things. I can grab any of my CGC books right now.
I don't have anything. I have
yeah. So, okay. So yeah, there's a little ding like on mine, right? So I could pull out any CGC book that I own right now, and that book is moving around in there. And I know we want to give Tony the opportunity to speak on this, but man, see, how do we want to do this? Because I have something to say specific to this.
Let's have Tony address these.
Tony, right? Exactly.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So, first of all, I'd like to obviously state that this doesn't happen with all the books. Okay. It's just an occurrence to where some of the books just happen to have a little bit of play in them, but it's not damaging the book whatsoever. And really, who in their right mind is going to get their slab and just, shake it like they're hailing a cab in Times Square, right? So for the choice few that do move just a little bit, it just goes with the way the case is made and the way the inner liner fits in the case. It's just they all don't.
That's much more than my EGS book. No doubt about that. Yep. Mine too.
Yep.
And there's a difference there. There's a difference there because the thing, and okay, let me just say, oh, well, God, see, I don't.
I know we can't get off track because I know, Chris,
Yeah.
we only have you for a limited amount of time.
Yeah,
I really want to get you in for the impactful things, and maybe you could write down your thoughts in the comments below. I don't know, but Tony, we got to get Tony to kind of address these issues before you leave. I really would love for that to happen. So yeah, it happens to CGS or CGC. I'm sorry, I have a CBCS here. Let's see, new meetings number. Oh, that's great. This one's a little bit less than the Marvel Point 1 that I had. It's there though, but again, it's much less than yours. So yeah.
Yep. I mean, it happens. I mean, I wish there was a technical way I could explain how some are just, you can't move them, and some have a little play in them. But I mean, even the ones that have a little play in them, I mean, they're not damaging the book or anything in any way. So, but again, if that bothers you, okay, I mean, if you're just one of those people that want to sit there and shake it and shake it and shake it, and you hear it move and it bothers you, then let us know and we will take care of it and re-slab it. I mean, that's what we do. So
we'll get to that point in a second. Also, let's talk about real quick warping of the label.
Yep. Yes, I get this quite often. And let me take a minute to kind of make or try to have everybody understand a little bit on the mechanics and stuff of slabbing a book. So we use what is called in the industry a one-piece inner liner. Okay, and our slab is a two-piece, but it's one solid compartment. Okay, where CGC and CBCS, now that they've been in business 10 years and have hundreds of millions of dollars, okay, have designed a case and paid for a case to have two separate departments. One department is just for the label. The other section department is just for the book. Okay. I researched this, and for me to do that was way out of my price range.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So I had to use the one-piece system. Now, if you go back to CBCS's cases before this new case, and CGC's cases before these, they used a one-piece system.
Yep.
Okay. But they have evolved and made enough money to where they have, gotten to where they can do a two-piece system. I, on the other hand, okay, have pretty much mortgaged everything I have on these cases, right? And just couldn't afford to do it that way. So I have to do the best I can and, do it the same way that they did before they, had the money and the clout to do it. So when you're dealing with a one-piece system, okay, basically it's one piece. You put a seal across the top. From the seal down is your book. From the seal up is the label. Okay. So when the label gets in there, okay, it's kind of free. Okay. I mean, there's nothing that's holding it up against the case like a two-piece system does. Mm-hmm. So when it goes in the case,
like
okay, right. When it goes in the case, sometimes it looks like it's warped a little bit, but it's not warped as far as the label is warped. It's warped. It looks warped because it's not bent up against the front of the slab because it's just pressed in a split.
Flat. Right.
Correct.
So okay. So again, I'll follow this up. If there was an issue, you'd help fix it.
Absolutely.
You just gotta talk about that.
Yeah,
okay.
If it bothered you enough to where, look, this is the label just looks way too wavy, send it back and we'll do it again. And you try to do something a little bit better. Because again, this is just, I want to reiterate, right? I mean, this just happens, to a certain amount. Like it doesn't, I mean, if you guys put your labels up to the camera, I mean, they look great. right? I mean, so, you know, again, it's not in every book, but it does happen sometimes to where it might look like that. Yes.
Yes. And again, if you're just joining us, we're just addressing an issue. We had a winner from Fresh from the Comic Shop who's a YouTuber as well. We're not naming names, putting EGS on blast for reasons we felt were not really kind of found. Maybe it was a bad book that you sent out or something that you actually, you know, try to make amends and do it right. But this video came out, kind of putting Tony on blast. This person won a free book is the issue here. And I see a lot of you guys are kind of agreeing with that. This person won a free book from a member of the community who is sponsoring this segment, who is trying to get a foothold in the market. We just found that as distasteful and tacky. But again, so we'll continue on again for another issue that was mentioned. The gap, there's a gap where this person said they can fit their fingers. They can fit their fingers in the case. I don't understand that at all.
You're not supposed to, okay? But again, in very limited cases, okay, and I'll start from the beginning to kind of fill you in on what the process is, okay? So when you have a slab, right?
Look at that.
Is that CGC?
This CGC. I could pop. Look at that. Okay. You can see at the top of my finger. Look at that.
Yeah. If you really want to do it, you can make it happen.
That open.
Yeah. So
I can't even get. Well, there's my fingernail kind of in it, but not.
But if you're really trying, you're going to get your finger in there if you want. Like, you know what I mean?
I don't know. In the EGS case, I think my fingernail could kind of tuck in there, but I can't even pull it up. I can't pull this apart. I can't.
Yeah. All right.
Yeah.
Anyways.
No. So basically there's a part A and a part B of every slab. It's two pieces that click together. There's 6 connecting points on the slab, one in each corner and one in the middle on the left and right. Okay. So what we do, or I should say, what the big two do, because again, they have a lot of money behind them. They have what they call a sonic welder. Okay. That's what they use when they connect part A and part B. They have a machine called a sonic welder. Okay. Those machines cost about $400,000 to $500,000.
Oh, wow.
Okay.
Okay.
So obviously, EGS cannot afford $400,000 or $500,000 to buy a sonic welder. So what EGS does, what I did to compensate that, is I use a clear bead of clear cement, and I put it around the edge of part A. And when part B clicks into part A, that cement pretty much welds the two pieces together. So you should not be able to really get your hand in it whatsoever. Now, if during this process, again, I didn't slab this book personally. I mean, I have, employees that slab the books. What most likely happened is they either forgot to put the bead of cement on there, or in a certain spot, they didn't put enough on there. So in that spot, he probably was able to get his fingernail or whatever it was in that spot. Okay. But again, that is far and few in between. I mean, like I said, we actually added 2 more connecting points than the other companies have for security. So you can't do that. So,
again,
but,
okay.
It is.
Those are some of the critical things that this person said. And then it went to where, Chris, I listened to your message. This really kicked you off. Then it went to saying that maybe you just get bottom of the barrel books that you give out for these giveaways, right? You're just like, oh, let's just take a crappy one. Tell us how you choose these books that we give away on a monthly.
Yeah. So first of all, I mean, I want to, let everybody know that these books that go to you guys, the community, are from me. They are my personal books that I am donating. Okay. How do I go about picking which book to do for next month's Fresh from the Comic Shop? It's really what I have and what I think you guys are going to like, what's going to look appealing to you. Okay. Now, I don't just say, oh, I got a bunch of crap books over here. Let me just pick from this pile because it's a giveaway. No. If you notice, all my books that I give away are pretty much 9.8s. I think I did have a 9.6 that I gave away. I think it was a King Spawn book.
Yeah.
Was a 9.6, not a 9.8. But it's really I look at the cover, and say, hey, this is this cover is nice. And, obviously I look at the book before I give it away. And personally, I really don't want to give away a book if it's a 9.4 or less, if it's just a modern book. Now, if it's a key, okay, let's say it's a book worth $150 or $200, or if it's a real expensive key, I mean, then yeah, I mean, I probably wouldn't care what, the grade is what the grade is. But when I'm giving something to you guys, I want to make sure it looks nice and it's a nice grade. So that's.
Can I ask you a question then?
Yeah.
This free giveaway gets the books into the hands of people that most likely don't have an EGS book. This particular person as well. This is what happened.
Yes.
Is it smart? Is it a smart kind of business plan or model to send out shitty slabs to these contest winners? Does that sound like a thing that you do intentionally?
Jeff, before Tony answers that, not just crappy books, but say EGS goes through a process of slabbing books and a case gets cracked or gets damaged, then those are the ones that sit around and then are hypothetically donated for giveaways. So to the question, so Tony knows, we're not just asking about, is it a smart business move to where you just pick the crappiest books, but are you even giving away like slabs that you're like, well, this was defective, so now I'm just
that's what I meant, actually. I meant the crappy.
Right. No,
I just wanted to clarify.
Not the book. I'm not talking about the book. But if I said books, I meant the slab. Slab. Everything, exactly. The whole presentation.
Yes. Yes. So the book and so the
By the way, you got props here from Mike Hags, Lady Death.
Thank you, Mike. I appreciate that. No, it's slab just like it goes in with all the other books that are going out from EGS. I give it to my slabber. I say, hey, this is for the canon. I need this slab. Get it back to me by the end of the day so I can scan it and they can have it for their presentation. And, it comes right from the fresh new case of slabs. So, yeah, there's nothing at all like, oh, we have crappy slabs that we wouldn't give to people and we're going to use those for the giveaways. That's, that's really, that kind of really is, it insults my character that somebody would think I would even do something like that.
And it's not even, I mean, any business that wants to stay in, but that would be the opposite. Like, honestly, if there was a shady business out there, they would take somebody's money and give them the crappy slab and give the highest quality slab to a giveaway because they want to bring more people in to their crappy business. So it doesn't even make any sense from anybody that's trying to run a business to even have that mentality.
Yeah.
It's pretty shitty.
It is. And like I said, what really got me too in the same context of thing is like he even questioned the grade, like what you think I'm just gonna say every book that I pull is a 9.8 and I don't even check it. I don't even grade it.
That too. We've had another YouTuber, and Tony, you and I have talked about this, that actually has a very good size following, that did a video that was really borderline defamation, who basically stated as fact, it wasn't even questioning, he stated as fact, I know what they're doing. They're taking lower grade books and giving them a 9.8. When quite honestly, anybody that has paid money to get EGS books would know that, quite honestly, I think EGS is probably the strictest grading company out there right now, to where, you know, you're not going to see, and go back to my 9.8 ASM 132 that has like 5 color breaking spine ticks from CGC, and it's a 9.8. You will never see, at least I haven't as of this point, I could speak to Tony and his company, there will no way be a 9.8 that has even one color breaking spine tick probably coming from EGS. And that's just from my experience and anybody else that's actually been a customer of EGS's experience, that, you know, they're going to be more conservative with their grading and not just be giving out higher grades just because.
Yeah.
And again, for those that think that Chris, myself, or Joe get preferential treatment because we have a relationship with Tony and EGS, I mean,
well,
that's
yeah,
honest,
that's
right? That's what I said. Like,
yep.
Again, like I knew it wasn't the best. I mean, this has sentimental value to me, but like, you know, he was honest. He's not gonna, you know,
yeah. And I got a 9.6 version, red Sonia, that I looked at it and I'm like, this is flawless. I didn't get a 9.8. I mean, if Tony really loved me that much, he could have gave me a 9.9. It was a 9.6.
So that's a big deal, messing with your integrity. But let's recap here again, because we wanted, if you're just joining us, somebody wanted fresh from the comic shop, won a slab, an EGS slab. They weren't happy with it for a variety of reasons we'll get into real quick as we recap. Decided to go on YouTube and kind of just put Tony and EGS on blast. And again, it was a free book from somebody in the community who's trying to start a business, get a foothold in the market that is very competitive. I didn't know that thing was what the Sonic whatever thing is, $500,000. That's insane. But so we've addressed all of this, the book moving in the case, the warping of the label, the gap where he says he could put his fingers in there. Those are all addressed. And again, you even went, I mean, when this person reached out to you, I think and us, saying that, you know, I'm putting this video up, and you were like, no, well, let me just send you a new book. Tell us about that.
Yeah. So, I mean, just to make it perfectly clear, how it happened is he DM'd me first before I got you involved, Jeff, before I had DM'd you. He sent me a DM, and Chris, yes, saying that, hey, I just won one of your books. I found issues with the cases, and I'm going to do a review on it. And I'm thinking to myself, obviously, are you kidding me? Right? I mean, I think anybody would react in that fashion after you've just given somebody something that they would even think about doing that. So I was like, you know, well, wait a minute. I'm like, you know, first of all, it was a free book and a gift. And I offered to, hey, send it back. We'll get you another one, even though it was for free. It doesn't matter if, you know, we want to make things right for anybody, customers, whether it's a free giveaway or you're paying for it. And he declined. And I think that's when he declined. I got a hold of Jeff and Chris and kind of let them know what was going on. And then I think, Jeff, you had some conversations with him over DMs and such.
Yeah. So. And it was under we understood that video was not going to be released.
Yes.
But you brought it to my attention because another member of the community brought it to your attention that the video was released. And again, it's in poor taste. Really disappointed in this person. I'll say it one more time. It's like a friend giving you a gift. You're not happy with the gift, and you put that friend on blast to all of your other friends complaining about this gift. So really poor taste. And we wanted to address it here on the show. Again, we weren't going to have a full show today because Joe messed up his work schedule, but luckily Chris is here, but that was last minute too. Otherwise we would have a full show. But anyways, just wanted to kind of address this situation. So Chris, I think you have a word.
I want to put because I've done honest EGS reviews, and I would really like to put this in context for anybody watching, for anybody that is a content creator that is in a position to use their feedback as a tool to critique businesses, and even for this individual, because, you know, if this individual is watching or this individual sees this, you know, to me, this isn't about having bad blood or pointing fingers. It's really about having a conversation of understanding for every party that's involved. And without that conversation, without communicating properly, nobody wins. Not that this is not that we're in a competition here, but it's not going to be good for anybody. So I really want to put this in perspective. Now, any business that does business publicly is going to have at the helm public perception, and that public perception can be something that is addressed publicly. And no matter what you do as a business, that's their right. You have Yelp, like all these places, you have Google reviews. They could sit there and it doesn't matter how good your business is. They could give you a 1-star review and say this and that, and you have no control over that. And that's just the way of the world. And you have to accept that. So that's the position that Tony is in. That's the position that we are in as people that have a public show or have a public YouTube, et cetera, right? Now, putting that aside, though, there's etiquette. And I'm going to reflect back to my honest reviews. Now, I actually purchased some books. The first honest review I did was actually on a giveaway that Tony donated, I think, for what was it, my 2,000 subscriber contest? I don't know. It was a long time ago, but I knew going into that I respected EGS as a business and I respected their product. That's the number one thing I think is first and foremost in an honest review, because to do an honest review for me means I care about this company, but I'm going to be honest enough to where I can critique this company to where they can better themselves. So I went into that review and I said, oh, this was the old cases where there was like the security tabs. I said, 3 security tabs is a bit distracting. Maybe if they limited it. And actually from that review, Tony listened and limited their security tabs. I did talk about sometimes with the custom labels. Custom labels, first off, isn't for everyone. You don't need to customize your label with EGS. You can do a standard blue label. Sometimes, depending on the color scheme, the font may be a little harder to read. So you might want to change the color, take the bold off the font, do certain things. But that's a critique, but that's actually a positive thing for the consumer, because what is Tony and EGS offering that nobody else does? Customizing your label. He's the only company that you could go to and say, hey, I don't like necessarily how this font looks on this label. Give me this font. Give me this size. Give me this color. Nobody else is doing that. Now, the next review that I did was some books that I actually purchased, and I waited for the new cases. Honest review. Again, how do I support this company, but yet am honest to where I could give constructive criticism with what intent? To better the business. So I did notice that sometimes there's a little bit of wave in the label. I did notice that in a couple of them there's a little bit of a wiggle. But what I did too was I had my CGC book there, and I was like, but look what CGC does. It wiggles even more. I sat and tried to put my fingers in, and I think one of them, I maybe could get a little fingernail in, whatever. But I was sitting there about ready to pop this open like a Lego block.
If you missed that earlier, we got that.
Exactly. So for anybody wanting to do a review, unless, and Tony's even brought up here today, it's like, call me, talk to me. How do we make these things right? And anytime I have critique for any company, anytime they make it right, especially if I'm expressing my critique publicly, I'm going to go back and express and give the proper context of how something was resolved publicly as well. To not do that takes it completely out of context. And the one thing that I got from this review was it was completely taken out of context. Now, I don't even think that this individual necessarily wanted to sit there and do a video saying, I'm going to throw EGS in the mud. Mm-hmm. I'm going to make this video because they are horrible. We know somebody else that did that and that was bad. I don't think that was his intent. I don't think he had any intent to do that. But the problem is it was perceived and easily perceived as something that anybody can watch. Maybe they've never used EGS before. Maybe they're interested in using EGS. And they're going to come out of that video and say, man, I am not ever going to use EGS because of a misleading perception. So let me talk about one thing that we talked about, and that is the book moving around. Now, Tony already said, this is something that if you reach out to Tony and the company, they're going to address, they're going to fix it. They're going to do what they need to do until it's fixed. And it's not every book, but here's the thing too. The inner well of this book that has a little bit of movement, a little bit of movement. When you're moving it, guess what? The book actually itself is not moving. The book in this case is not hitting any corners, whereas the movement in a CGC case, it's actually the corners of the book that are hitting right up to the inner well. So when you think about it, if you take an EGS book and a CGC book and you want to just freaking go nuts with them.
Hey, sorry, what the hell are you doing?
I mean, I guarantee you, if you throw these across the room and toss them up in the air like pizza pies, whatever, over time, the CGC book is going to damage more because you're actually roughaging up the corners of the book to possibly get blunted to bring that grade down. Now, another thing that I want to address too that is very important, Tony kind of brought this up. It took CGC about, I think Tony, I don't know if you know this exactly. I don't think it was until maybe 2016 until CGC started using, like you said, a case that actually had a separate well for the labels.
Yes.
For CBCS, it wasn't until 2020, whenever they got their current books.
Yep.
It took both of these companies, it took CGC 15, 16 years. It took CBCS, when they started 12, I don't know, 6, 7 years.
Yeah.
From Tony's been around for just a few years, and he has a case that is years beyond. I don't even know what generation CGC is on. 8? How many cases have they had? This EGS case is in so many ways better quality than probably generation 4 or 5 of your CGC cases. And quite honestly, is, in my opinion, better than every generation of the CBCS cases except for the current ones. Now, when you get to the current ones, that could be subjective. I think that the EGS cases are on par with the quality of the CGC cases. But look, yeah, CGC does have a little bit of perks because they're a multi-million-dollar company. Mm-hmm. They do have the separate inner well. They do have the ability to push the plastic up against the label so it lays flat, and they do have a deeper inner well that might work better. But like I said, I mean, it's still moving around in there, right? So when you're looking at it from this perspective, to me, that speaks to the due diligence and the resilience of a company like EGS to be around just for a few years and actually have a product that, maybe you could sit here and put them up with all the multi-million-dollar entities and say, well, CGC does this, but they are right there doing it. I mean, so again, context matters. And what I would recommend for this individual or any individual moving forward is that, especially, I haven't even brought up the fact that he got the book for free in a contest, et cetera, et cetera. If you know that a company is out there and they're running a business with good ethics, and you know that the president of that business shows face, makes an effort to be a part of this community, listens to the community, I mean, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera, and you have issues with their product, and you want to be honest, but also support this company to be better, there is a way of doing it, and that's not how it was done. The bottom line to me is you have to come out of an honest review with the intent to make the business better. Saying this is bad, I will never send a book to EGS. You don't even give them the ability to grow. And you short side them because now you are not even allowing other consumers to really make decisions on their own because you painted a picture. I mean, it really is almost like, and I say this for people that review comic books, but I'll say this for this context as well. It's like Siskel and Ebert. Who knows Siskel and Ebert? I know, most of you guys aren't, young whippersnappers here.
Don't assume that.
That would be like, I know, right? That would be like Siskel and Ebert sitting down in their chairs saying, oh, the movie that we're reviewing this week is so-and-so, and we give it 2 thumbs down. But then they say, we never watched the movie. We just watched the trailer and we don't really like it. Or just listening to what some critic has to say coming out of the movie. One critic. You go to a movie, how many people could fit in a movie house? 40 people? When everyone's coming out and you go up to one person, they're like, yeah, I didn't really like that. So-and-so, this actress did a horrible job. And then these 2 people that have a responsibility because they have a voice. They're in front of a TV. They have an audience. So they take this one person that came out of this movie and then they go and do their show and they say, yeah, 2 thumbs down. We haven't seen the movie, but that one person said it was horrible. When if they would have went and asked the other 99.9% that came in there, probably 85% of them would have said, we freaking really loved this movie. It distorts and it takes away from the ability to have a real, honest conversation. And I'm going to end my rant on this note right here. I guarantee you that there is, so many people in this community. And I've been out of the comic book game for over 3 months now dealing with life. And you know what it's taught me? You guys are fucking ridiculous sometimes. I'm just going to be honest. And look, I allowed myself to get into it. And here I am, first day back, and I'm kind of on a, I don't know. But what I realized is that we are a fickle people. And the same people that are going to sit there and complain about CGC and EGS will be the same people that'll sit there and bash a company like EGS without even going in and seeing the movie. So what I'm trying to say is this. There is nobody out there doing what Tony and EGS is doing in the sense of listening to the community, in the sense of putting so much energy and effort and resources into growing their product because they care. And I'm not saying that they necessarily have the best product out there or that, I'm going to sit here and change your mind and make you want to go to EGS instead of CGC. That's not what I'm doing here. All I'm saying is they are the ones in the game that are making the effort to do that and to grow. And for the little time that they've been doing it, boy, I'll tell you, it's like the rabbit and the hare. And that rabbit sure is making leeway while the hare is sitting there chomping on the carrot saying, ha, 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 I got this. So I want everyone to take that into perspective. And if you really are somebody that says, you know what? I am integrated comic books and I might want other options instead of CGC or CBCS. We won't even say that other company. And you look at EGS and say, well, you know what? I kind of like this, but I don't know if I'd like that. I might not like this. Then guess what? Do it in the right way to where we can work together and grow this company so it can benefit us as collectors, EGS as a business, and this comic book industry as a whole.
I have missed your rants. I have missed you. It's so fantastic to have you back on the cannon.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
I need to be fair, though. This YouTuber did say he was excited when he was opening the box because it wasn't unboxing. He was excited about the label, customizing label. But at the end, it was poor taste, done completely wrong, didn't give an opportunity to Tony and EGS to make it right. And it was a free book. It was a gift from a community member. So, it's just, again, poor taste all around. We can have opinions. Tony, you could have sent a new case to this person and they would have been like, you know what? I still don't like it. Okay.
Correct.
Fine.
Correct.
Tony, you did everything you possibly could.
That's right.
And we would have been fine with this. Some people, we have a bunch of people right now watching. Some people may not like your product over CGC or something like that. That's fine. That's their opinion. That's fine. But the thing is like, again, you're doing everything as Chris said, you're doing everything you possibly can. You are a fan. You are a comic book fan. You are a community member that has this product that nobody else is doing out there, that Chris and I stand by. We put our names on this. Joe puts his name on this. I'm telling you right now, Bronze Age Nerd, or not former, is a Comic Book Canon alumnus. I agree with this wholeheartedly, that it feels much better in the hand than a CGC case. I can't find the comment. I put it up earlier.
Yeah.
It's there, I swear.
Yeah.
So again, it's to each his own, but there's a way about going about it, and we wanted to address all of the issues that were mentioned. So yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. I want to add, I think everybody can equate to this, right? How many of us, and I'm sure all of us, have gotten a gift for their birthday, Christmas, whatever, and you open it up and you're like, ugh, right? But you put on a smile, you say thank you, and at the end of the day, when the people are gone, you throw it out, or you give it away, or you do whatever it is, right? I mean, that's usually what you do. That to me has always been the right thing to do, right? I guess this person doesn't see that and has a difference of opinion. Again, which is fine. Like we've mentioned before, it's his channel. He can say whatever he wants. He has the right to do whatever he wants. And at the end of the day, it is what it is. But again, I can look myself in the mirror and know, hey, even though it was a free book, and I'm not happy that it came to you that way, and we offered to replace it, and he didn't want to do it, and obviously made the video anyway after discussions with me and with you and all of that stuff. So, but it is what it is. He has the right to do it, and
we have the right to
move on.
We have a right to have a rebuttal. You have a right to have your say, because I don't think that happened either. So yeah, again, I'm glad we got to talk about this tonight. I'm so glad that Chris is here tonight, but we also have an announcement to make too.
Yeah.
Tony came up with a fantastic idea. I don't like giving Tony a lot of credit, to be honest, because he's a Dallas Cowboys fan. Chris and I both and Joe despise the Cowboys.
Well, hey, it's a love-hate relationship. It's like my Yankees, you love them or you hate them, right? I mean, it's just one of those teams.
Yeah, I can't stand the Yankees either. I despise Dallas even more. But anyways, we're getting off track here because people are here to hear an announcement. Yeah. Because I'm going to have Tony actually explain it. Yeah, I want to say something, but Tony deserves all the luster in the accolades on this. Go ahead, Tony.
Okay, so what I came up with is I wanted to maybe expand Fresh from the Comic Shop a little bit. And what I mean by expand is maybe up the stakes a little bit. Maybe get that competitive juices flowing with you guys a little bit more. How can we do that? I mean, you guys do a tremendous job every week coming up with your Fresh from the Comic Shop, all the pictures and stories and stuff behind it. So what I wanted to do is say, hey, maybe we can juice this up a little bit. And what I came up with is not only are we going to give an EGS slab away to every winner at the end of every month, but we're going to add a book of the year to someone. So if you've won any month out of the year, all of you winners will be competing against each other for the grand book of the year, which we still have to come up with what actual book that's going to be.
Ooh.
But Jeff, I think you have a couple of ways that you're going to do the bracket system. I'm not quite sure how that's going to go, but maybe you can kind of give a little explanation of what you're thinking, how it's going to work that way.
I will. It's inspired by March Madness, but Chris has a thought. I have a thought. I liked his hand raising. I miss you, man, but go ahead.
Okay. I don't know what you guys have discussed because I've been missing in action.
Real quick, we decided, because again, this was just Tony just came up with this, I don't know, 2 days ago or I don't even know. But we are going to have a key book. It's going to be a highly sought after book. We're going to decide hopefully by summer what that book is. Me, you, Joe, Tony, we'll all figure this out. But go ahead with your thought, Chris.
So, okay, this is what I'm thinking. These 12 finalists, I say we up the ante in terms of the competition. And we don't get to use their winning submissions. Those are done. We don't, we take all the winning submissions and put them up against each other. Or I don't know, maybe we could start with
let me explain how it's
what were you thinking?
It's going to be bracket style.
Yeah.
And the way it's going to work is the highest percentages of winners, whatever percentage you get, that's how you're going to be seeded.
So from their monthly winning.
So there'll be
I love that.
The top 4 seeds.
Yep.
Who have the highest percentages of winning. So this is where the competitive nature comes in.
Yep.
Figure out how to get. I mean, the only way you're going to get that to happen is have people vote or what have you. But the highest percentages, the first 4 seeds will have something what's called a bye. If you follow the NFL, the top 2 teams, I think it was this year, is the 2 teams were in the playoffs. They didn't have to play that first week. They played the second week. Underneath those top 4 seeds are going to be battles. Lowest seeds to highest seeds.
Yep.
The seeds that move, the ones that move on to I think it'll be the quarterfinals or
the 4 remainders out of those will face the top 4, right?
Yes, exactly. And then
from there it'll be
we have our bracket. Yes. Because it's hard to do 12. That's the only way to do 12.
Perfect way to do 12. Exactly.
Yeah. So
now
we'll get some imagery here to explain how this all works.
Yeah.
We'll put that together. This is all brand new, but it's exciting and fun. So we so far have 2 winners from this year. We're gonna have another one. By the way, keep sending in your Fresh from the Comic Shop. We're not doing Fresh from the Comic Shop tonight, but every submission, everybody who submits this week and next week we'll have the finals or the semifinals set, and then the finals by the next week. Anyways, go ahead, Chris.
So now, but when we know how to bracket them, we take the percentage of from their original monthly winning. But are we now making them submit a new submission for this competition?
No, it will be your original submissions.
What about the final 2? What about when we get to the final 2?
Shit, we should have thought this out.
We make those 2. Because if we did new submissions for all of it, it would be a lot. Yeah. But what if we take the final 2? Once we get the finals, it's a brand new ball game. They have to resubmit, and we up the ante, and it's even more of an intense criteria.
Yes. Okay. We'll do that then. The 4 of us is a 4. Yeah. The 4 of us will figure that out. Joe, Chris, myself, and Tony will figure that last final. The finals are going to be a little bit different. But again, right now, what you all have to concentrate on is getting us an amazing submission that has all the criteria. And, Kamikaze's here. We haven't seen you in a while. Love seeing you. But that guy is a great photographer. Give us a well-composed shot. Get creative with it. Have the imagery, kind of attached to the story or what it means to you or, what have you. A unique book, something, a unique book doesn't mean it has to be $30,000, but something that we haven't seen before. Mark Leneker does a great job with that. And then finally, tug at our heartstrings. What does this book mean to you? Give us the story. Does it remind you of your grandfather or your first friend who gave you, got you into comic books or what have you. Think about all those things, because that's what you guys all need to concentrate on to get the submissions, to get in the semifinals, to get in the finals, and get those high winning percentages. So have fun with that, guys. Again, this is another great way that Tony is boosting the community and having fun with what he does. He loves doing this. He loves being a part of Fresh from the Comic Shop. He loves the segment. I'm pretty sure you all do too. So that's where we're standing. And we'll have to figure out something for the finals. I don't know what that would be just yet. But
yeah, we don't even know what we're calling it yet, right? I mean, but
we don't. But we wanted to share the idea with you because, again, we're already 2 months in, almost 3 months completed through the year, and we want everybody to know about this. So yeah, it's exciting. It'll be fun.
Oh yeah, it's going to be great. I can't wait to see everybody's submissions, and then everybody just battling it out at the end is going to be. It's going to be a great.
We'll make it a big battle. Maybe we'll bring those people live on the show, what have you. I don't know. We'll figure something out there. But again, I think, Chris, you got to get going soon. Joe is selling life insurance. No, he doesn't sell life insurance. He's a financial advisor. But Tony, thank you so much for joining us. Thank you all. Seriously, thank you so much for joining us and having us talk through things with you guys tonight. You, the audience, you're what makes this show. You're what makes Fresh from the Comic Shop so fun. Chris, love you. We don't have a timetable on when Chris will be back.
Yeah.
But he will be coming back. So again, he is still on the can. He's just taking a little hiatus, right?
Yeah. I'm very optimistic right now. So, I'm going to give some things, maybe a couple more weeks to try to see what's going on for me guys. And who knows, maybe I'll be back here weekly sooner than later, but just glad to be here today for sure.
Yeah. As you can see, everybody loves you. They're shouting you out in the chat here. So we love you guys again. Thank you all again. If you guys have problems with somebody in the community, just talk to them to see if you can make it better. You know what I mean? Don't put people on blast, especially for something that's free. That's a free gift. I'm over it. I'm over it. But you know what? Y'all be good to yourself and be good to everybody else. Until then, we'll see you next week on the Cannon.